Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Nick Push, and I am excited tonight because I'm going to be talking two of my favorite TV shows of all time, Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. The Breaking Bad verse, if you will. If you're new here and you can't tell by my background, I usually talk horror movies. But I thought it might be fun to start talking about a few other things as well. And what better topic than, the Breaking Bad verse? I can't get enough of this universe. Breaking Bad was my favorite show for a long time until Better Call Saul came around. And yes, I'm actually one of the people that likes Better Call Saul better than Breaking Bad. But they're both fucking phenomenal. So what I wanted to do tonight was do one of those classic tier lists ranking kind of all the characters in the Breaking Bad verse. So we got tons of characters here, some very important, some, side characters as well, some that just kind of passed by. And I thought it might be fun to put them in a tier list. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Give me 1 second here, and we are going to go. So, starting right off with a character who is extremely inconsequential, and that is Jesse Pinkman's father. So, where should he go? Now, before I put him in the list here, the categories are pretty standard here for a tier list. You got S tier, which is the best, and then it's a grading system, like you're in school. A plus and A, there's no minuses. B plus and B, etc., all the way down to F. So, where should Jesse Pinkman's father go? My initial reaction is put him right down in the F, right? But his son was a drug dealer, okay? And he wasn't someone that was, trying to make sure his son was arrested or anything like that. He genuinely wanted to help Jesse. Yes, I have some issues with some of the decisions he made, as far as favoring Jesse's younger brother and things like that. But we don't know what Jesse was like before Breaking Bad. We have a pretty good guess, right? I don't think he was the best son, and I don't think this guy was, a bad father. But he wasn't very interesting of a character. For me, he's going to fall into the D plus category. Next person on the list is Andrea. Andrea was, Jesse's flame for a while until she was killed by that douchebag Todd. She was good for Jesse, but she wasn't very interesting of a character, in my opinion. I'm going to put her right along Jesse's father in the D plus tier. Next, we got, and some of these side characters, guys, I know who they are. Well, most of them, it looks like. But, their names might go over my head a little bit. I might need a refresher on that. So, down in the comments, if you want to fill me in on some of the names that I might miss, please do so. And also, feel free to put your ranking of your favorite characters in the comments below as well. Next is, I can't remember her name. I want to say Olivia, but I don't think that's right. But she was in the Better Call Saul. She was in the group that Mike was with Stacy. The grief counseling group or whatever, grief therapy, whatever. She was a good character for a couple episodes. I'm gonna put her in the C category. Not great, but I don't think she deserves a D or lower. Next, we have, God, I definitely don't know this guy's name. I think he was one of Hector's henchmen. Yes, he was, because he had a great death scene. Not very memorable, but goddamn, when Gus came and put that plastic bag over his head, right in front of Nacho, that was a fucking ridiculously fantastic scene. And it was the first time we saw Gus be an absolute badass in Better Call Saul. So just for that death scene alone, he gets in the C tier. Next, speaking of Gus, we got I think this is Gus's doctor, the one who nurses him and Mike back to health, both in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. Specifically in Better Call Saul, he's the one that heals Mike down in Mexico. Remember, he's got the blood bags with, Mike and Jesse and Gus's blood. I think it's extremely cool that Gus would have this guy, essentially on his payroll, and he in the episode where Gus kills Don Eladio, Gus had this all planned out, like I said, with the blood bags for everyone that they brought down there. Very fucking cool. this guy can go in the C tier. Other than that, not very memorable, but his role because of Gus's planning was so great that I have to put him up, relatively not high, but average. He's average. Next, we got Walter White, Heisenberg himself. If I have to explain to anyone why he is in the S tier, you are watching the wrong video. Walt is the fucking man as a character. Come on. I'm gonna try not to put too many characters up in that S tier. I want to reserve that for the creme de la creme. I want to reserve it for people that are just a handful of people, which is actually going to be tough in this universe because there's so many fucking awesome characters. But Walt is the reason we started watching Breaking Bad and the reason the Breaking Bad verse exists. For me, it's S, hands down. Next, we have Chuck McGill. You could make an argument that Chuck might be, in the top 3 most important characters in the Breaking Bad verse because of his role in, Jimmy and Saul, which led to Walter and all that. Chuck is a guy that's easy to hate, but he's very nuanced and layered. He's an A+ tier for me. Not quite S, but those first 3 seasons of Better Call Saul were just driven by Chuck and Jimmy's brotherly relationship and the complications in that relationship. Chuck is awesome. I don't like him as a person, but he's an awesome character. He's A+ tier. Next, we got Howard Hamlin. Talk about an interesting character. He started off as, a villainous character, and then we find out that he's just doing what Chuck told him to do. And then slowly, he thinks he's responsible for Chuck's death. And then he has, in my opinion, the greatest death scene in this entire universe. Howard Hamlin joins Chuck in the A+ tier. Next, we got Mike Ehrmantraut. Talk about a character that started off as a one-off at the end of season 2 in Breaking Bad because Bob Odenkirk was busy, and they send in Mike as this cleaner, and he becomes super important not only to Breaking Bad but so much that he's essentially the co-lead of Better Call Saul. Mike, S tier for sure. Like I said, the S tier people are pretty easy. There's gonna be no doubt about it, but I'm gonna try and keep it to like maybe 5 people or so. Next, we got Nacho Varga, someone that started out in the pilot episode of Better Call Saul. And he slowly became, one of my favorite characters in this whole universe. I loved his story, his arc, how he just wanted to get out of the drug game. But he was too far in. First he had to get rid of Hector Salamanca, and then Gus finds out about him, and all he wants is him and his dad to run away, but his dad hates the choices he's making. And that final episode where he, kills himself to essentially secure the future safety of his father is awesome and heartbreaking. Nacho, A+ tier for me. Next, we have some dude in a suit. This has got to be... Who is this guy? I think he might be someone that works with Saul or Jimmy at Davis and Maine. Not very memorable. He can go in the D tier. Next, we got Kim Wexler. Kim's story is just fascinating. I love what they did with her. Someone that we think is straight-laced and just a love interest for Jimmy. She's going to keep Jimmy on the right path, but she essentially pushes him over the path to Saul Goodman. Obviously, a lot more complicated than that, and whether it's her fault or not is up for debate. But Kim, another one, she's an S tier for me. It's funny, I say I'm gonna only put like 5 people at the S tier, but I already got 3 up there. Next, we have Mrs. Kettleman. She was a fun fucking character. Just a raving fucking lunatic bitch. But she was fun. She's going B+ tier. She did a great job. Next, we got Bill Oakley. He was is he a defense attorney? No, a prosecutor. Sorry, he's a prosecutor until the last episode of Better Call Saul, where he becomes, a defense attorney. Bill Oakley, for me, he's a fun character. He's minor, but he's always kind of around and, making jokes, being sarcastic. Sometimes he's the butt of jokes, too. He's going to be C+ tier for me. He wasn't bad at all. Next we have, is that Juan Bolsa? Juan Bolsa, he was fine. He was trying to keep the peace between Gus and Hector. But other than that, he didn't really do much. He's going to be C tier for me. Next, we have, I think this is the veterinarian from Better Call Saul, another very important character that was very minor, but super, super important. For me, as much as he was important and as much as the concept is cool, I don't think the actual guy or the character was very memorable. However, the idea was cool as hell, having this guy that's a vet that has all these shady operations going on. He's the one that gives Saul that black book. For me, we're gonna put him with Bill Oakley in the C plus tier. Next, we have Elliot, the guy who in Breaking Bad, Walt, Elliot, and Gretchen started on Gray Matter. I wasn't a big fan of Elliot. I get it; he was important to tell Walt's story and backstory and all that. But for me, he's a D tier for me. I wasn't a big fan of him. Next, we got Ted Beneke. I fucked Ted. I hated fucking Ted Beneke. He's a F tier for me. I found his storyline fucking dumb. Now, the black comedy of him falling and breaking his neck was kind of funny, but all that tax evasion shit was bullshit. It wasn't bullshit, but I get it. So Skyler gave him the money, and there was no money, and it led to that great crawl space shot. You can do that with any of these characters where this character is here and it leads to this great scene there. But I didn't like Beneke. He's my first F tier character. Next we got Badger. Badger's a fun character. Badger's a B. He's a fun friend of Jesse's. Badger and Skinny Pete are great. We'll get to Skinny Pete here in a minute, I think. All right, we got Gale Bedecker. What an interesting character. He is a meth cook that is not like Walt at all. He's singing, Major Tom. He's brewing his own coffee. He's really goofy and kind of delightful and kind of oddly charming and very nerdy. He's a B tier as well. I like Gale. Unfortunately, Jesse had to kill him. Next, we got Jane, another character. I just didn't like her. I love the actress, but Jane's a D tier for me. Didn't like that she had Jesse, going back down that dark road. She, kind of pitted Jesse and Walt against each other. Wasn't a big fan of Jane. Skinny Pete is going right along with Badger in the B tier. Love Skinny Pete. Love that him and Badger were both in the last episode, and also in El Camino as well. Next we got, is that Cliff Main. Cliff Main from Better Call Saul. Jimmy obviously works for him at Davis and Maine, and then he was very involved in the Howard stuff. After before Howard was murdered, and the aftermath of that as well. Good guy, good character. He is gonna go. He's gonna go B plus. I like Cliff. I really like Cliff. Next we got Combo. Obviously he was murdered by a child, and that led to a lot of fallout with Jesse and eventually Gus and Walt and all kinds of stuff. Combo, he wasn't as funny and charming as Badger and Skinny Pete, so I'm gonna drop him in D plus. Other than his death, didn't really do much for me. Next we got the Cousins. The Cousins are kind of a fan favorite character. I always thought they were a little cheesy to me and over the top. Some of the most unbelievable suspend your disbelief moments happen with the Cousins, but they have some badass scenes, especially, their showdown with Hank. Cousins we're going to put in C+. I know a lot of people would put them higher. For me, they're kind of middle of the road, a little bit higher than middle of the road. Next we got Mr. Kettleman, Craig Kettleman, I believe. Not a big fan of his character at all. His wife was kind of the one that I enjoyed. Craig, is just a pushover. He's going D tier. Price. I fucking love Price. I thought he was hilarious. He gets he starts working at the Pills but Nacho. He needs Mike as a bodyguard, and then he gets that ridiculous car, and he's upset about his baseball cards being stolen. Price is A tier, just because for me, in a show that's a bleak show, you get a character like Price. I think he was funny, and I love Mike's speech to him about good guys and bad guys and criminals and stuff. I didn't say you were a criminal. I didn't say you were a bad guy. I've met good guys that do bad things and bad guys that do good things. You broke the law. That makes you a criminal. I love that speech by Mike. But yeah, Price is a great character. Next, we got this one guy. I can't remember his name from Breaking Bad. Essentially, the guy that Walt says, "Say my name." You're goddamn right. Just for that alone, excuse me. Other than that, not that memorable, but just for that alone, he gets up a couple tiers for me. Next, we have Jane's father, the air traffic controller who, causes the 737 down on ABQ. We'll give him D+. We'll raise him up a little bit. He's not very memorable. I'm going to raise him up a little bit just because I feel bad for what happened to his daughter. Next, we have the makeup chick from Jimmy's student film crew. She's going to go C+. I'll probably put all of them in C+. Because they're fun characters. Like I said, I can't remember her name exactly. I don't remember any of their characters' names exactly. But the film crew is always going to be synonymous with the show Better Call Saul. It kind of helped Jimmy's creativity. So it was a great thing. Next, we got Robert Forster, the vacuum disappear guy. He goes right up into B+, because that concept, I'm going to move him over there, that concept alone is pretty cool. Robert Forster is a great actor. Unfortunately, he died, I think, did he die the day of El Camino releasing, I think? But he was a cool character, and that concept is really cool. He's a B+ for me. Next, we got Don Eladio, the leader of the cartel. This is going to be controversial. He's D tier for me. I didn't like this guy. I know the actor was in Scarface and stuff like that, but I didn't. He acted like a little child all the time. Like, ooh, yeah, ooh. Like, just fucking weird. I didn't think he was a great character. I think they should have had a better portrayal of the cartel boss. And I know it might be controversial, but for me, I just didn't like his little boyisms, so to speak. So he is D tier for me. Next, we got the chick, can't remember her name, worked with Jimmy at Davis and Maine and essentially was his kind of babysitter. We'll give her C tier. She did her job, wasn't very memorable, kind of a pain in Jimmy's ass. Next, we got, oh my god, I can't think of his name. I can't think of this character's name. He's, friends with Jimmy and Kim in the mailroom at HHM. This is going to bother me. What the hell is his name? Anyway, he was a cool character. I felt bad. He should have been in the last episode, or not the last episode, but he should have been at Howard's funeral or wake or whatever at HHM. He was a big character. He would bring Chuck his stuff. He's B tier for me. Ernie, that's his name. Ernie. He was a good character. Next, we got Francesca. So, it was interesting to see her growth. I actually liked to see her growth. She was this happy receptionist when Jimmy and Kim hired her. Obviously, we know what she becomes in Breaking Bad. This bitter, crazy bitch. But she's like that because of years working for Jimmy/Saul. So she's going to be a C+ for me. Next, we got, I think this is one of the members of one of the cartels, like gang that would keep an eye on Gus and stuff like that. He can go D tier. And he didn't bring much to the table at all. Next, we got Hank's boss, ASAC, whatever your name is. He'll go D+. He was all right. Obviously he lost his job because he did not listen to Hank. But I enjoyed the actor's performance. I thought he was fine. But there's so many more memorable characters here. Next, we got Hank's partner, Steve Gomez. Gomi, where do you belong? I'm going to put Gomi in the C+ category. He was another character that's a fine character. And I'm trying not to grade this too harsh, but I can't just have everyone in A's, A pluses, and S. So I'm really trying to keep things in perspective here as far as characters go, because otherwise, if I put everyone in A's and S's, the S's, the people that actually should be in S's are in S's right now. It's not going to mean as much. Gomi might deserve to be higher, but for me, he's C plus. He's a good partner to Hank. He's a fine character, but not much more than that. Next, we got Gretchen. Gretchen, she can be C. She was a little better than Elliot, I'll say. I got Elliot down in the D category. Gretchen was a little better. I'm going to put her in the C. Next, we have Gustavo Fring, one of the best villains in television history, in the show Breaking Bad. What they did with him in Better Call Saul was really cool. Really cool. But for me, it kinda a little bit ruined some of the mystique of Breaking Bad Gus for me. I loved the little bit we got of Gus. I didn't want to see how we built all this stuff. And as much as it was cool to see, okay, how the super lab is built. Okay, this is how Gus and Hector's beef continued after Hector killed Gus's probable boyfriend. For me, what they did with him in Better Call Saul drops him from S to A+. Still a fucking phenomenal character. Like I said, arguably the best villain in television history. But because I'm grading on the whole Breaking Bad verse, I'm knocking him down a peg for Better Call Saul. And that's not a knock on Better Call Saul, but he was just so good in Breaking Bad, you weren't going to be able to keep up with that. Next, we have Hank Schrader. Love Hank, obviously. A very emotional death scene. Him and Walt's chess game was great, especially on the final season. Him realizing who Walt was while sitting on the toilet totally fit in with his character. Hank is joining Gus in the A+ tier. Next, we have Huel Babineau. Huel is a fun character. I love that they brought him back in Better Call Saul and gave him some, jobs that he can do in Better Call Saul. And then he had, he even had a good moment with Jimmy while they're pranking Howard, and he's like, you guys got money, right? And why are you doing this? Huel's a great character. I love Huel. He's going B+. Next, we have Uncle Jack from the Neo-Nazis. This is tough. Great villain. Obviously, he was the villain that, Walt took out and Walt was battling in the final episode. Not much backstory with him. He's just a fucking neo-Nazi, that is a white supremacist, I'm guessing, right? Oops. Where'd I put him? I messed up with him. Where did he go? My mouse got messed up. I don't know where he went. Where are you, Uncle Jack? There he is. You can see I'm going to put him in B. Uncle Jack is in the B category for me. Next, we got Jesse Pinkman, one of the most important characters in the show, essentially the heart of Breaking Bad. Jesse joins Walt, Mike, and Kim up in the S tier. It's 4 people now in the S tier. I think there's probably going to be 6, actually. I said I was going to try and keep it to 5, but I know there's going to be 2 more at least. All right, next we got another member of the film crew. He can join the other member of the film crew in the C+ category. Next we got Kevin Wattel. Is he your boss? Essentially, Kim works for him. Mesa Verde's guy. He's kind of a dick. And not even that interesting of a dick. I liked the fact that he trusted Kim and things like that, but I didn't find him that interesting. He's D+ for me. Next is this Crazy 8 here. Is it Crazy 8? I think it is. He is going to be in the C category for me. He was all right. Typical guy. Typical guy in the drug game. Walt obviously kills him. He's got a little bit of a bigger role in Better Call Saul. He was fine. So I think C is perfect for him. Next, we got Lalo Salamanca. Here's the controversy. Lalo, for me, all the way up to S tier. Yes, ahead of Gus Fring. That's how much I fucking loved and was terrified of Lalo. bravo, Tony Dalton. You did something I didn't think was possible, and you made me, more terrified of you than Gus Fring. You're just a fantastic character, and that's not a knock on Gus. This is Lalo, and just that whole scene with Howard when he shoots him. There's just something about Tony Dalton where he can charm your ass off, and then fucking kill you, a second later. It's impressive. So Lalo is S tier for me. Can't believe they got this guy in here. This is the Kinko's guy that Jimmy pays to tell Chuck he wasn't there. He is fine. He's a D plus for me. Not that great of a character. Obviously, he shouldn't have been. He was in a couple scenes. Next we got, looks like Lydia. Lydia's gonna be middle of the road for me. C. I liked her quirkiness. She was kind of stone cold. Other than that, not very interesting. Oh man, we got Nacho's father. I liked that this guy always was about doing the right thing. I really enjoyed Nacho's father's character. He's B tier for me. I have no idea who these next two people are. Who is this? I apologize. She looks familiar. I'd probably know her. She can go C tier. So can this chick. C tier. I don't know who you are. Sorry. Is this someone's mom? I don't know. And this chick, I don't know either. They're going to go C tier. Next, the guy that owned the junkyard. He can go C plus just because he was entertaining. I like that actor. He's in a lot of stuff. Next, we got Paige, who worked with Kim and Kevin Wattel. Paige, she can go C plus as well. She was a fine character. She was a lawyer for a bank. How interesting can you be, right? So she's gonna be in the C plus tier. Next we got Kirby. Kirby is a good character. He's going B plus tier, just because the actor that played him is fucking awesome. Kirby and Hugo belong together anyway. They're both good characters as kind of Saul's henchmen. Next we got Rebecca, Chuck's wife. She can go C plus. She'll join Paige. A little bit barely above average. She was important to Chuck's story. Obviously, she called out Jimmy. I thought she was fine. Next we got Rich Schweikert. Kim's boss for a while. He also battled. He battled the what the hell's the case? The hell's the Sandpiper case? Sorry, the Sandpiper case against Jimmy and Chuck, and later Howard and Cliff. He's gonna join Cliff in a B plus category. I liked that we got to know all these lawyers around Albuquerque. It was really cool. It's really cool the way they did that. Next we got Saul Goodman / Jimmy McGill / Gene Takovic, and yeah, he is 100% S tier. He is my favorite character in this entire franchise. Saul Goodman was great in Breaking Bad. After one season of Better Call Saul, I just fell in love with the character of Jimmy McGill, and I just did not want him to turn into what he became in Breaking Bad. It was such a fascinating experience for me, and for a lot of you, I'm sure, too. And then, we saw him as Gene Takovic, and then I loved that, I don't say he redeemed himself at the end, but he took ownership of what he did, and I thought that was a perfect fitting end to his character. Maybe my favorite character in television history. Next, we got Marie, Hank's wife. She's gonna go D for me. I thought she was annoying, and wasn't a big fan of the klepto bullshit. And then we got Skylar, Walt's wife. Now look, Anna Gunn deserves no hate that the fans have given her. It's ridiculous. She's playing a character. The fact is, she's playing an unlikable character. She's gonna go D plus for me. Now, I get it, some of her decisions she made because she was married to fucking Walter White. I get all that, but for me, didn't find her very likable. Next, we got another member of the film crew who's going to join the other members of the film crew in the C plus category. Next, we got Stacy, Mike's daughter-in-law. F for me. Probably my most hated character in this franchise. I can't stand her. She was manipulating Mike at the beginning of Better Call Saul. I just did not like this character at all. At all. You know, not only was she not interesting, I thought she was dumb. So she's an F for me. Next, we got Hector Salamanca or Tio. He's going in the A tier for me. Just based on, the fact that we got to see more of him in Better Call Saul. And he was a pretty terrifying guy. He was a good adversary for Mike. He's a ruthless, stone-cold bastard. And then obviously he plays a huge role in Breaking Bad with Tuco and obviously the demise of Gus. So good character. I really like what Mark Margolis did with him. Next, we got probably the most evil character on this list, which is fucking saying something. That is Todd. I instinctively just want to put him as an F. That's how much I fucking hate him. But playing a psychopath like that was pretty impressive. I like him as a character. A psychopath. He's going to A tier. Jesse Plemons, bravo again. Nice job. Tuco for me. He's very important in the beginning of Breaking Bad and the beginning of Better Call Saul, with Mike's journey and things like that. For me, he's going to go B+. I liked his antics. It was entertaining. Next, we got a couple of Gus's henchmen. This is, what the hell is this guy's name? Tyrus. Tyrus, not a huge fan. He's D. Victor, I liked him better than Tyrus. He can go D+. We got Walt Jr. Walt Jr., where do you belong, my friend? Well, it's a B. Flynn, you're a B for breakfast. How about that? And then we got Wendy, the meth addict cocksucker, whatever the hell she is. She's going to be C. Played her role fine. And finally, these must have been in alphabetical order, we got Werner Ziegler. Hear me out on this. Werner Ziegler is in the A tier for me. Because he played such an important role in Mike's story. That's when there was kind of no coming back for Mike. Mike and him became friends, and Mike had to kill him because Ziegler did not understand who he was working for. So that is my Breaking Bad verse tier list. You can see we got 2, 4, 6 people in the S tier, 5 in the A+, 4 in the A, and then everyone else below. So comment down below, guys. Tell me who would you put in your S tier, or who are your favorite characters in this universe? I'm going to have a lot more Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul vids coming in the near future. So please hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.